Hello, teleSUR English presents a new episode of China Now, a Wave Media's production that showcases the culture, technology, and politics of the Asian giant. This episode explores China's intelligence and the way it counters U.S. spying activities, Huawei's new launch, China's demographic projections, and other topics of interest.
China Current is a weekly news talk show from China to the world. We cover viral news about China every week and also give you the newest updates on China's cutting-edge technologies. Let's get started. Hi, welcome to China Currents. I'm Kris. If you guys remember, last month we covered CIA Director William Burns' claim that the United States has made progress in rebuilding its intelligence network in China. In that interview, Burns also bragged about the United States' strong human intelligence capability in its spy operations. At that time, as we covered, the Chinese only issued a statement vowing to take all necessary measures to resolutely safeguard national security. On Chinese social media, the Foreign Ministry is often joked as the Ministry of Protest. The reason? Well, they protest all the time, yet barely take any action. But not this time. On August 11th, China's security agency announced that it had unmasked the CIA spy ring stealing China's military intelligence. According to the report, the suspect was an employee of a Chinese state-owned defense corporation. As an engineer, he had access to classified information, and the way CIA recruited him was so Hollywood. Once upon a time, our suspect was studying in Rome, Italy. He wasn't rich and there was this language barrier and stuff, so he was stuck in what might be one of the most appealing tourist cities in the world. Then a CIA agent appeared out of nowhere, taking him out to operas, attractions, bars, and for the best part, the agent paid for everything. By the end of the day, the CIA agent befriended him and then, "Hey Bill, we've got you a brand new spy." From what we know, after returning to China, the suspect continued to provide critical intelligence to the CIA for monetary reward. The official announcement did not state the time span of the spying activity. The suspect is now being held in custody. The news article was published by the social media account of the Chinese Ministry of State Security. The account has just been created 2 weeks before the announcement. The account marked the debut of China's top national security institution on the internet. Its first post on social media was titled "Mobilizing the Whole Society for Counterintelligence Efforts," echoing China's recently revised counter-espionage law. Additionally, Chinese netizens discovered undertones in this announcement. First, it's rare for state media to point out the name of the foreign agencies like CIA in this case. Usually, the format would be like the suspect was approached by a foreign intelligence agency. The mentioning of CIA has evoked a sense of urgency among many, suggesting that China is facing a direct threat from the United States rather than more generalized West or foreign power. Secondly, many people connect the news to the prior statement made by CIA Director William J. Burns, who said in public that CIA has made progress in rebuilding its spy networks in China. Online discussions have now depicted the bust of the spy ring as not only a retaliation against the US's aggressive move, but also a slap in the face to the Americans. Next up, we got another one on Sino-American relations. On August 9th, United States President Joe Biden signed an executive order that will limit U.S. investment in China. The order authorizes the U.S. Treasury Department to restrict investments in semiconductor, microelectronics, quantum computing, and certain artificial intelligence systems. It's expected to be implemented next year. U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, who had just visited China in early July, claimed that the order is to prevent U.S. capital and expertise from helping China to modernize its military, which will threaten U.S. national security. The Chinese government responded swiftly by stating that the executive order seriously deviates from the principles of market economy and fair competition and add pressure to the global supply chains. Furthermore, China's Foreign Ministry spokesperson called on Washington to reconsider the restrictions and create an enabling environment for China-US business cooperation. The statements emphasized China's commitment to an open and inclusive global economic system and urged the United States to adopt a more constructive and cooperative stance in addressing bilateral issues. It remains to be seen how these new restrictions will impact the already complex and contentious trade relationship between the United States and China. The executive order reminds me of what a wise German political economist once said: the original suspect was England, but it's absolutely correct to describe present-day United States, if I may borrow. While openly preaching free trade, the state secretly defends its monopoly. Its free trade is a one-way lane. It's the alias for US dumping, not the other way around. Whenever we look closely into the nature of American free trade, monopoly is pretty generally found to lie at the bottom of its freedom. Next up, Huawei. On August 4th, Huawei launched its newest version of the operating system Harmony OS 4.0. According to Huawei, it is 20% more fluent in operation and can extend battery life by 30 minutes in comparison to the previous version. Analysts gave this system high praise. Xiang Ligang, Director General of the Beijing-based Information Consumption Alliance, said in an interview that the Harmony OS 4.0 is superior to both the iOS and Android in terms of the function of AI-powered new language model adaptation. The first generation of Harmony OS was released in August 2019, soon after Huawei was sanctioned by the US government. Therefore, in addition to the anticipation of the new product, many Chinese consumers see the release of this system as a breakthrough for China in the tech war between the US and China. Considering the EO that we have just mentioned, it is reasonable to be optimistic that the US sanctions will only stimulate Chinese companies to develop further and quicker. Next up, China had just completed the first production line for chip-scale atomic clocks. This advanced production line has an impressive annual capacity of 30,000 units, and a core technology is developed independently by Beijing Huaxintai Science and Technology Company. Chip-scale atomic clocks play a crucial role in satellite navigation and deep-sea exploration. They were primarily produced by American companies such as Microsemi and Aurelia. According to the Business Wire, the global market for chip-scale atomic clocks were estimated to reach $490 million by 2028. Chinese netizens have aptly expressed their views, recognizing this achievement as not only a remarkable technological breakthrough, but also a significant step towards China's energy security. Next up, according to the Economic Daily, TSMC and its investment subsidiary, Vanguard International Semiconductor Corporation, had recently been cutting their prices for 8-inch wafer foundry services, with the highest reduction rate reaching 30%. For TSMC, which primarily derives its profit from 12-inch wafer foundry services, the reduction in prices for 8-inch would not have a significant impact. However, for Vanguard, which solely operates in the 8-inch wafer foundry business, this is undoubtedly a difficult decision. Considering the average production cycle for wafer foundry services is 3 months, the impact of this decision is expected to be reflected in the financial reports for October and November. Chinese Business Review suggests that TSMC's proactive price reduction is likely related to Texas Instruments, which lowered chip prices for the Chinese market in May, causing significant disruption to other chip design manufacturers. As a result, these manufacturers are hoping that TSMC and its subsidiaries can lower their prices to help them reduce costs to compete with Texas Instruments' price war. Next up, on August 10th, the core module of the Linglong-1, the world's first commercial onshore small modular reactor, was successfully installed in Hainan province. The final expectation of this project is to supply 526,000 families with more than 1 billion kilowatt-hours of electricity, reducing 880,000 tons of potential carbon dioxide emissions. Linglong-1, developed by China National Nuclear Corporation, is the first SMR to gain a license from IAEA, International Atomic Energy Agency. According to IAEA, SMRs are advanced reactors with power capacity below 300 MV per unit. They have advantages in terms of efficiency, economics, and flexibility compared to traditional reactors. As renewable energy becomes the main trend, SMRs can be used to back up renewable energy, which depends on the weather and the time of the day. Although China doesn't need SMRs as much, with the exception of island province like Hainan, its short construction period, high inherent safety, and low operation costs suit other countries with lower population and smaller power grid scale, and its competitiveness will help us better support the Belt and Road Initiative, experts stated. Next up, let's take a look at the Chinese college freshman. Recently on Weibo, a young man unveiled his collegiate acceptance into a major focusing on mortuary science. The curriculum he presented outlines various facets of the funeral industry, including funeral procedures and body preparation. Historically, the perception of the funeral industry in China has been shrouded in superstition and cultural beliefs. Many hold the view that it's a sector associated with death and misfortune, leading to a societal reluctance to embrace this profession. However, current trends indicate a transformative shift as the industry begins to appeal to a younger demographic in their career choice. The funeral industry's appeal is multifaceted. Primarily, there is a significant demand for skilled professionals in this field. Industry statistics suggest a talent shortfall of approximately 10,000 individuals per annum, with only 8 vocational colleges offering a major in mortuary science and fewer than 1,000 graduates each year. The industry practically guarantees employment for its graduates. Last but not least, Qiao Jie, a renowned Chinese public health expert, said recently in a forum that China's newborn population has declined by around 40% in the past 5 years. In 2022, the total number of newborns nationwide was 9.56 million. It is projected that the number of births in 2023 could be around 7 to 8 million plus. Qiao expressed concerns over the declining fertility rate among women of childbearing age. This includes further decreases in the number of women of reproductive age, increases in infertility, and high incidence of adverse pregnancies. If Qiao's prediction is accurate, 2023 could mark a new low for China's birth rate, which has been in steady decline due to factors like the one-child policy and increased cost of living. The continued drop in births will exacerbate China's demographic challenges, including an aging population and shrinking workforce. Qiao called for more support for women's healthcare and fertility services to address this issue. However, analysts say broader economic and social changes will be needed to reverse current trends. The government has eased family planning restrictions, but the birth rate has not rebounded as hoped. Well, that's all for today. Thank you for watching this episode of China Currents. If you have any thoughts and comments on our show, please reach us at the email address below. I'm Kris. I'm looking forward to hearing from you, and see you next time.
And now we will go for a short break. We will be right back. Stay with us.